Let us not forsake the meeting together as believers for worship and instruction, as some are in the habit of doing. That's what the writer of Hebrews says in chapter 10:25 in the Amplified Version, that we as Jesus followers must not turn our back on or abandon or walk away from. That's what it means to forsake. We must not forsake the regular, consistent gathering in person of the church that Jesus Christ gave his life to build. We are to gather with other believers for worship and instruction. And it's important because, well, Jesus said it was important. And if it's important to Jesus, it has to be important to those of us who will follow him. But there are other reasons why we should not forsake the meeting together as believers. And one of them is because it does you so much good. There are so many things, so many values added to your life by making worshiping with other believers a priority. When you make church a priority, there are things that are added to your life that add value to your life. And I want to give you one today. And I'm going to call it worship realignment. When you consistently gather with other believers for worship and instruction, you realign the worship in your life. What does that mean? Well, your car can sometimes go out of alignment, right? You might hit a bump or a curb or a pothole or a cat, and your alignment might get out of whack. And what that means is that the wheels get turned a different way, and you really have to force the wheel to go straight, or your car just wanders and goes off track. And so what you do is you take it to somebody and they do some kind of mechanical voodoo, and then they realign your car, and now the car is going the way it's supposed to go. It's working how it's supposed to work. And believe it or not, you as a human being, you need consistent, I would say weekly, worship realignment. You need to gather with other people and worship correctly, worship the correct God in the correct way to realign your heart, because you as a human being are maybe first and foremost a worshiper. Now, you probably have, like most of us today, an incomplete idea or definition of worship. When you hear the word worship, most of you would think, oh, that's the 2 songs that we sing on Sunday morning, that's worship. That is an extremely incomplete, small part of what worship is. Worship means to value. Worship means to give one's life for. Worship means to sacrifice for. And as a human being, you're going to do that because it's what you were created to do. You were created to value God. You were created to give your life for God. You were created to sacrifice things that don't matter in order to be closer to God. So that's part of worship. But most of us spend our week giving our lives to something else, maybe the pursuit of a career, the pursuit of money, pursuing happiness, pursuing a relationship. We give our energy, we give our time, we give our mental capacity all week long to valuing other things and valuing the world around us, maybe even sacrificing for it, giving our lives for it. And before long, you'll find yourself totally and completely drifted away from God if you don't regularly realign or recalibrate your worship. When you don't remind yourself that there is one true God, and the best way for me to have my life on track is to worship him with other believers who are worshiping him, you'll drift. You'll find yourself far from God. And when you're far from God, things are not good in your life. Nothing can be. So why should church be a priority for you? One main reason is it will recalibrate or realign the worship that you were created to give, to do, to be. You are a worshiper. And the best way you can realign your life with God is to not forsake the meeting as believers for worship and for instruction, as some are in the habit of doing. May you be a person who makes priority the worshiping, gathering, meeting church of Jesus Christ. Your life will be better when you do. Bye.